Hey everybody, thanks for jumping on. We'll give some minute or so to jump in, and then we'll get started here. I appreciate you taking the time. Alrighty, I think we'll begin. It's already 9 o'clock, and I don't want to keep folks up any later than we need to be. My name is Jeff Hoffman. I'm one of the members of the board of directors and support the House League program, and really appreciate you taking the time to be here tonight. Vanessa's our convener for the 6U age group. Hey Vanessa, good to see you.
Hi, nice to see everyone.
Yeah. And so our plan tonight is just to kind of go through just sort of a high level discussion around 6U T-ball this year. Share some of the information about the season with each of you, and certainly answer any questions that folks have as we go along here. We're recording this, so I hope that's cool with folks. So if anybody misses tonight's meeting, Vanessa, we can get you the link and you can flip it out to them. And then we'll also share the slides with you that we're sharing tonight, and all the resources that we're going to walk through as well tonight for each of you. So again, thanks for jumping on. We got a really full 6U group this year. Vanessa, lots of teams, lots of kids. In fact, across Guelph Minor Baseball registration is up significantly this year, which is awesome. And it's really taken off since the Jays got going a couple weeks ago. It hasn't stopped. So we got how many players again registered for 6U? It's like 90 plus, right?
Last I checked, we were at 99. There's been a couple shifts, but we're almost at the maximum.
Yeah.
Like almost every team has 13, so
yeah,
we're close.
Yeah, it's been really great. So,
Mm-hmm.
And so to start, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you. To you, Vanessa, for stepping up again to convene this group, and to all of you for stepping up to coach. We can't do this without you. We absolutely can't. There's close to 100 kids going to have a really great summer of baseball because of each of you. So thanks again for stepping up and leading your teams. Okay. So maybe we'll just start here. We'll just go around the screen here, and if folks are cool, just quick introduce yourself. If you're a head coach, assistant coach, and this way everybody has a chance to know everybody. So we'll go from there. So Mattel, do you mind starting first?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Matt. My son and I just moved here from Toronto last September. So especially in Toronto, like everything there, he hasn't been able to play any sports or anything. He's 5, almost 6 now. So he's finally getting a chance to play some organized sports. So we're excited for that. And that's about it. I'm excited for all this.
Awesome. Great. Welcome, Matt. Kyle.
Hey guys, yeah. Hey Matt, I was in a similar situation. I just managed to get my kids in. I moved in to Guelph a little bit earlier, like you. I came from the GTA, so I did some coaching actually with Vanessa last year, helped out a little bit. But actually, you said introduce yourself as a coach or assistant coach. I don't know. I don't know if I've been assigned one role or another. I'm happy to do anything. Was everyone assigned something, or I don't know?
For the most part, everybody who asked for head coach there's a couple occasions just because so many people again volunteered, which is amazing. I feel like last year I was looking for people, and this year I have too many people. So there might be like 2 head coaches or a combination head coach, assistant coach on the team. It's whatever, however you guys want to divvy it up, honestly. And we've got lots of parent volunteers too, so there'll be lots of adults with gloves on the field. So I'm happy. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Sure. Is this going to be like the Rally Caps last year, or will there actually be a kind of game format?
It's fairly similar. We'll end up going over it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nice to see everyone again or meet you.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Thanks again for stepping up. A in the bottom in my left side here.
Hey guys, my name is Andrew Ritchie, and my son was with the Rally Cap last year. His name's Owen. He loved it last year, so I didn't volunteer to coach last year, but I thought I'd step up this year and put my name in the hat. I'm kind of similar to Kyle. I'm not exactly 100% sure if I'm head coach or an assistant. I'm pretty flexible either way. But again, I just wanted to get involved with a team this year. So whatever involvement that is, I am happy to do it. And I'm looking forward to meeting everybody in person, hopefully soon. And hopefully the weather's turns and gets nice and warm for us soon. So looking forward to meeting everybody.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks again for stepping up, Andrew. That's awesome. Yeah, it's nice for us to have this many volunteers. Some of our divisions, and Lindsay, who will introduce us, I can speak to that. We are struggling, but that's awesome that we've got this much energy at 6U. That's great. We need it. Andrew D.
Hey everyone, Andrew Decision, lifelong Guelph resident. Actually went through GMBA myself, so quite familiar. Yeah, my little guy William just turned 6. He's super excited to play, loving the Jays. I'm sure like a lot of our kids are, so that'll be good to get him out there. I recognize a few names in here too, so hello to old friends, and yeah, looking forward to a good season.
Absolutely. Thanks, Andrew. Rick.
Hey, Rick Chisholm, like these guys, head coach, assistant coach. I'll sit on the baseline if that's what you need me to do this year. Been with GMBA, I don't know, I think longer than Hoffman.
Yeah, it's true.
Been a while. I've had older kids that have already been through, and we're coming back through with the 2.0 crew.
And Rick's also a member of our House League committee, as is Vanessa as well, who kind of helped organize our whole House League season. So thanks again for stepping up, Rick. Connor.
Hey guys, Connor down here. Nice to see everybody. Vanessa, thanks for being the convener again. I know it was a lot of work last year, so appreciate you stepping up for that.
No problem. Now that I know what I'm kind of doing, it's a bit easier.
You did a great job last year. So
Thanks.
my son, second year playing in this program, or my youngest son, I should say. And now we're excited. And Andrew Decision and I actually played rep baseball in Guelph together. So it's good to see his name on the screen here.
Nice. Awesome. That's great. Adam F.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had my mic mute. Thank you everybody for definitely hosting this, taking the time at your schedules as well to, go over all this fun stuff for us to get us all settled for the season. My son Jason played Rally Cap last year. I didn't do the coaching thing last year, but I definitely started to play an active role kind of midway through the season and towards the end of it. So it was definitely a fun, exciting thing on that side of it. I got my other son. He's going to be playing in the 5U group. So I'm looking to, again, either head coach, assistant coach, whatever it is, just to get out on the field and play some ball.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. Tim.
Yeah, hey guys. I have a 6-year-old son, Tyler. It's his first year playing ball this year. I also have a 9-year-old who I coach that team as well. Last year was my first year and I loved it. So I thought I would sign up to, I think, assistant Tyler, but willing to do whatever.
Thanks, Tim. And Julian's iPad.
Hey guys. I got a son and a few of his friends who did the Rally Cap last year, and the 3 of them are all going to be doing it again this year. And I did do a tandem kind of coaching last year with somebody else. So honestly, either way, whether it's the assistant or head coach thing, I have no problem with either one of them, and looking forward to the season.
Cool. Awesome. And then Vanessa, we'll go over to you now.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I recognize a lot of you from last year, so thanks for coming out again. I played GMBA too when I was little, and then when I was 10, I started playing Gators. So I played Gators all the way until they wouldn't let me anymore, basically. But yeah, so I coached last year. I convened last year, and it was super fun. It was a bit of a learning curve for me, so I hope I did all right. But yeah, I'm happy to be coaching. My son Nico loved it. It was his first organized sports experience, so he has a couple buddies on his team this year as well. So I think it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to another good year, and thank you all again for volunteering. Every team will have at least 2 coaches in some way, shape, or form. So I'm really pleased. Thank you for offering up yourselves for the summer.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Lindsay.
Hey everybody, I'm Lindsay Dickerson. I am the co-chair, so I'm directing the Junior House League section and co-chair of Select with Jeff. This is my first year on the board, and I'm a little jealous listening to all of you say how excited you are to coach when we're struggling to find coaches for a few other divisions. So if any of you feel like coaching an older age group, please feel free to reach out. Be happy to have you.
Totally. Thanks, Lindsay. As I mentioned, I'm Jeff Hoffman. I'm on the board. I'm one of the House League directors and select directors. My kids have been through the Rally Cap program, through the T-ball programs, and they're 14 and 12 right now, still playing baseball for GMBA. And so, and so we'll get started here. Our goal, I definitely want to get you out of here. We will not go past 10 o'clock. I promise you that. It's a school night for all of us. So, we do want to run through a few things for everybody. But again, it's pretty informal, our discussion today. So if you got questions or thoughts or just need some clarification as we go through these slides here, just stop me and we'll get them answered right away. Okay. So again, main contacts for you as coaches, Vanessa and Lindsay are the overall leaders here. So Vanessa's your main person. You need something, connect with Vanessa. She'll hook you up. And then Vanessa will work with Lindsay to do if there's anything that Vanessa can't answer. And Lindsay will get the answers that Vanessa needs on behalf of GMBA. So those are your two sort of key people as you move through your season. From a timeline point of view, so here's kind of where we're at. So Vanessa's busy working on teams. I think it sounds like you're pretty much done, Vanessa, around sort of putting teams together and.
Yeah, I wanted to be done last Friday, and then we had a couple late registrations. A couple kids are playing up, and then I got a couple late requests. So I had wanted to email you guys the lists so you had them for tonight, but they're not quite ready. So I'm hoping by the end of the week, and then you guys can let me know what you think, and I can tweak them before they're due officially.
Cool. Yeah. And so our official date to kind of get teams finalized is by April 23rd. So I think that's Friday, Saturday this week. And then because we want you as coaches to be able to reach out to your parents by Sunday, so by April 24th. And then from there, a uniform pickup, and this date's actually been moved. It was originally supposed to be April 25th, but hometown needs a bit more time to finalize all of our jerseys. So uniform pickup, and that just changed in the last hour, but I don't even know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, I did see that come through. So yeah, that's good. I'll get you those numbers.
Cool. Yeah. So May 2nd to May 13th is when uniforms will be able to be picked up. So that's where your families will head into and we'll head into hometown to grab your uniforms for your parents, your players can go in there, get the uniforms, get sized, get the right jersey, right pants, right hat. And same thing with coaches. Coach shirts will also be at hometown. Coach hats will be at hometown, so you can pick up all that stuff when you go in with your kids to grab what you need. Next week, so next Monday and next Wednesday, there's equipment pickup at GMBA. So for those of you who were Rally Cap coaches last year, remember we just had sort of one bag per diamond. This year, every team has their own bag. So each head coach, once Vanessa's figured that out, will need to swing into the GMBA office next week to grab your gear. If you can't make it in, let Vanessa know. We are, if we have enough folks who couldn't make it in, we'll throw a third date in there for equipment pickup later on that week if needed. So if you can't make one of those 2 days, just let Vanessa know. And then for 6U, your season begins May 14th. So you got a couple weeks to sort of get things in order, but you'll be on the diamond for the first time on May 14th. And your season ends on May 16th. So it's a 10-week program that the 6-year-olds work through. And so your program is every Saturday morning, 8:30 a.m. till about 9:45-ish or so, maybe 10 o'clock, depends on your group, how into it they are, what the weather's like that morning, how much they slept that night, all that stuff. You guys have 6-year-olds, you know what it's like. So somewhere from 75 minutes to 90 minutes is what your overall session would be. And the 6U Rally Cap program is a skill-based program building off of what you did last year in the 5U program. It has components of the Rally Cap system in there. But there is also a game that is played at the end of your session each week. So it works like this. Sometimes like 8:30 to 9:15. So for about 45 minutes, you'll run a skill-based development session that's based on Baseball Canada's Rally Cap program. The drills will look similar to last year, and as you go through the summer, I hope you'll find they're a bit more advanced because your player's a little bit older, and will be a little bit more advanced for those of you who are part of Rally Cap. And we're going to get into one of the practice plans in a few seconds to walk through. Both teams, so they'll be on a diamond. Both teams will practice at the same time, but each week you'll be paired with a different team. So there are 8 teams, right, Vanessa? 8 teams at this age group. And so each week you'll get somebody different to practice with and then play your game against. So, and you'll be at a different diamond too each week, or maybe at the same diamond, but you'll be rotating around a little bit. Whereas if you remember last year, you're always on the same diamond with the same teams, right? This year you got some new teams that you'll see each week, new coaches to work with each week. So you'll practice together through some stations from 8:30 to 9:15. Players and the coaches will rotate through the various stations throughout the practice. And just like last year at 5U, there are weekly practice plans that you'll be provided. And we'll walk through one of them. You don't have to, if to follow the plan perfectly. If you have some other ideas or ways to, enhance those practice plans, we certainly encourage you to do so. We built them off of Baseball Canada's Rally Cap program, and they've put a tons of work into that. And the Jays have actually jumped on board and become a big sponsor of the Rally Cap program this year. And they've added some additional thought and swag into it, and they've changed the program a little bit as well. But the practice plans are based off of that Rally Cap structure, which really provides sort of, in my personal opinion, real sort of well thought out, age appropriate instruction for 6-year-old baseball players. So you'll be able to walk through that, and we'll walk through one together. 9:15, so somewhere around 45 minutes into your session, you'll play a bit of a game. Game might be 30 minutes, might be 45 minutes. Again, that's going to be your call. Games, it's sort of loosely a game, a T-ball game where everybody hits and everybody plays defense, and you kind of work through your game with your players. And then it'll really depend on how long you play. It'll be sort of how your players are sort of feeling that day. And then if you run into any sort of weather at all, when you're on the field there on Saturday mornings, Vanessa's your person. If it's raining before, she'll get to you to cancel those, especially because it rained overnight. We had a few of those last year, Vanessa. Those way too much rain actually last summer.
It was a lot of rain last year.
Yeah. So fingers crossed we don't have as much. But if we do run any rain, Vanessa will do her best to reschedule your sessions. You only got 10 of them. And so if we do miss a week or two, we'll do our best to get you make those up with, which might be, a couple sessions one week, maybe one during the week and then one the Saturday to make up any missed time, especially if that time does pile up. Okay. So let's jump into a practice plan here. So I'm just going to pull this one up here. So a couple things. So first thing I want to say is Baseball Canada has changed their Rally Cap program a little bit in that it's no longer you no longer receive a different colored hat as you move through the system. What you receive now is a report card that has a number of stickers on it, and so you'll as coaches you'll receive those report cards, and we'll talk a bit about the evaluation in a second. But it's no longer a different colored hat you get. They've got different levels, and so the levels that we're working on are the single and double level at 6U. So our practice plans are based off of those two levels in the Rally Cap program. And so what it looks like on a Saturday when you show up at the diamond, it would look something like this. So everybody gets there around 8:30. You start your warm up, and you could do this together. So about 5 minutes, work through a series of warm ups, military walk, high knees, butt kicks, all that kind of good stuff. And then you'd move into your practice rotation. And you'd have about 40 minutes or so to get your practice in, and you would do it something like this. You'd split your group into probably your two teams, or you could mix the teams you want to and put them into two groups if you want to, but it might be easy, especially early on, is to split into your two teams. And then there'd be two stations set up for this first practice with two rotations. And so team 1 would start in station 1, team 2 would start in station 2. And that rotation would last for about 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, team 1 moves to station 2 and team 2 rotates to station 1. Okay, so pretty simple. So here's what you'd find. In station 1 on that first week, in your first practice, would be located in the infield and in left field. And the areas of focus in station 1 would be hitting, base running, and a little bit of infield play would be the areas of focus. And so what we'd ask you to do for station 1, so station 1 has got sort of team 1 there. You'd split that that team into two smaller groups and have half the team in the infield and half the team in left field. So we got about 12 to 13 players per team. So you'd have 6 players in the infield and 7 in the outfield, in this case in left field or vice versa. And then after about 10 minutes, you'd rotate the group that's in the infield to the outfield, and the group that's in left field into the infield. And here's what you do. So the group in left field is going to hit. And so it's a T-ball. So this is a T-ball level. And so we start with hitting, some basic T-ball hitting. So you set up a couple tees. So set up 2 hitting stations. Sure, there's lots of space between those stations. Split the group between the 2 stations, and you'd hit some wiffle balls off a tee, right? And so the equipment you need, a couple batting tees, various wiffle balls, soccer ball. These are all included in your bag that you get from GMBA. And this is where, as coaches, you're actually going to share equipment, because each bag's going to have 1 tee in it. So hey, each team would bring both their tees and put it to the hitting station, and put their wiffle balls over there. And then when the practice is done, you sort of put the stuff back into your own bags. There's some stuff here around safety, of course. And then from a teaching point of view, it's really basic stuff. For we want our players to have their feet wider than their shoulders, hands high and back, and the hands together on the bat. That's really simple when it comes to hitting off a tee. As you'll see when you get later on in the summer and the practice plans evolve, we'll actually move to a point where we remove the tee from the hitting station and have you throw underhand toss to the batters. We try to have them move to a point where they can hit a moving baseball, because next year when they move to 7U, they'll hit off a pitch machine, and we take that step away from T-ball. So what we're trying to get our players to, and you'll see this as you get to the kind of the halfway mark, is us hitting balls that are in flight. You may have some players early on that are good for that piece of it. So you could adjust this plan in week 2 and say, hey, this player's good to go. I'm gonna pitch to them or throw some balls underhand. That's totally cool. If you want to do that. So you've got your group for about 10 minutes. There's 6 or 7 players hitting off 2 tees. The other tees are shagging your wiffle ball. Other players are shagging the wiffle ball, throwing them in. You're kind of going quick, so everybody gets a chance to hit in that 10-minute span. And then the other half of your team is in the infield, and they're working on these sort of 3 drills here. One is called the train, and it's pretty simple. Start at home plate and run around the bases and say the name of each base as you touch the base, right? We got 6-year-old baseball players. Some of them are brand spanking new. Just the simple stuff like, which way do you run when you hit the ball? What are the bases called? All that stuff. So that's what we're going to do early on, and is some real basic stuff. And then that you'll see as the practice plans evolve, that sort of drill would disappear, exercise would disappear, and would be replaced with something a bit more advanced once your players have got a good handle on the basics. And then we'll do a little ground ball stuff, the crocodile, which everybody teaches around field and the ground ball. If you're new to this exercise, there's a video link here. It takes you to the YouTube link on Baseball Canada's website. It has a video that walks you through that drill there. And so that's just a fielding drill. And then we got a catching drill here, really simple, about catching a ball like an egg. And these are all real quick, right? So 3 minutes on the run, 5 minutes doing crocodile, catching a ball like an egg is like 2 minutes, and then handcuffs is like 3 minutes, and then catching the ball like an egg is like 2 minutes. So there's lots of movement happening, so that we're trying to keep our players active, and not too much standing around here. So because then after the 10 minutes is up, they're moving to the hitting station, and the other group is coming into the infield for the 10 minutes, for the next 10 minutes. So that's team 1. Okay, that's what they're doing for the first half of the practice part. Team 2, when the group is hitting, the group is working the infield. They're in right field, and they're working primarily on throwing and catching skills. That's what they're working on. And so there's a drill here called handcuffs. It's just all focused on how you grip the baseball. There's a video here that kind of walks you through a really sort of basic drill about picking a baseball up. If you did Rally Cap last year, these are all things you saw last year. These early drills. The wheel, we teach the wheel throwing progression all through our youngest ages from 5U to 7U, or how to throw a baseball. So this is basics of throwing a baseball, trying to get good form, good extension. And so the wheel is the exercise we'll use when it comes to teaching proper throwing mechanics. Again, a good video link here from Baseball Canada on how to teach young baseball players how to throw. And then a couple sort of games or fun things to do while you're throwing a baseball. One is Bigfoot, where you throw the ball to your partner, take a step back every time to catch the ball, and then one trying to catch a ball that's thrown a little bit higher up in the air, sky ball. So the key, though, and I think this is the piece that Vanessa mentioned a little bit too, and I to all the stuff around your practices, and what we really encourage with our youngest baseball players is that as much as you got a great group of coaches and parent helpers, we really encourage you to encourage your parents to not bring their lawn chairs to the practice part, but to come out, bring their gloves, and get on the field with you. Because especially when you get into these drills here where you're playing catch and you're throwing a baseball, you can't have 2 6-year-olds lined up, across each other, throwing a ball to each other. Nobody's catching a baseball. Nobody's getting a good throw. All we're doing is chasing baseballs, right? Somebody's going to get hit by a ball. It's just not going to be great. So what we really encourage is that when we play catch through the wheel drill here, through Bigfoot, through the sky ball piece, or any of the other types of drills, is that is done with an adult on the one end and the player throwing to an adult and then receiving the ball thrown from an adult. And so if you can't get your parents, so that would mean that the coaches then would kind of go down a line and would take turns, playing catch with everybody. But hopefully you can get a parent to help you and come on the field so then coaches can help with the mechanics of throwing. And I can't stress that enough. I think that's the most important thing around here is getting adult help when it comes to these drills. Because if you're throwing a ball to somebody, now the adult can catch it. And vice versa, when the adult throws the ball back to the kid or to your player, it can be thrown away that player can feel confident with the way they're going to catch that baseball. So if it's a player who's quite afraid and is just learning to catch for the first time, then that adult can toss that ball to land right in their glove, right? To close their glove. We've all seen our kids hold their glove out like this to the side and the ball lands in it and they've made a catch, right? That's what we're trying to do here. And so that's my biggest piece of advice for you, no matter what you do around all the drills. And if you change these plans or not, do your best to have adults take part in your practices as much as possible. Okay, so that takes you through the 2 stations. So that would take you about 20 minutes is the plan. So we're going quick. You rotate. The group that was in right field is now going to left field and the infield, and then that infield left field group is going to right field, and that'll take you through your 40-minute practice plan, your practice. So I'll stop there. That's lots of me talking and ask if there are any questions around the practice part of Rally Cup. We're talking about the game in a second, but just that first part of your session around the practice.
Hey, Jeff, not really a question.
Yep.
Just more a comment. When you're bringing in the parents to help, make sure you're watching their mechanics as well, because it's real important, because these kids will throw it back exactly the way they see it. So if mom or dad's throwing it from their ear, that's what they're going to do.
Good one. Totally.
Yeah, I
Cool.
just got a quick question just in regards to the slides and kind of what you're showing on the document there. Are we also just going to get a copy of that provided to us? I mean, I'm sure we all kind of understand, hopefully, how to throw a ball if we're signing up for this role, but will we get kind of copies of those sheets?
Oh yeah, for sure. You'll get access to every single practice plan. And yeah, all the stuff, you don't write any of this stuff down. You're going to get full access to all these pieces. Absolutely. Yeah. Kyle.
Hey, sorry, my audio cut out for just a second there, but are you taking some questions? Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, it was just a question about the practice part of the session. If you had any questions about that.
Okay, cool. So a quick question, you're probably getting to this too, but are these going to happen off Dawson again on those like 4 fields or 3 fields or whatever?
Yeah, no, the 6U group right now, it looks like you guys are going to be at 4 different diamonds. You're not at Norm Jerry anymore. You're
okay.
You're at Woodland Glen, Scove, WB Hamilton, or Rickson Ridge. And so what's going to happen is on the GMBA website under the 6U division, you'll have your schedule will be posted. And so if your team number 1, you'll say, hey, team number 1 on May 14th is at Rickson Ridge, and your game is you're practicing with and playing against team number 3. And then next week, maybe you're at WB Hamilton, you're against team number 4, et cetera. But all that will be on the GMBA website.
Okay, the only reason I brought up was the other thing I was going to mention is Vanessa probably remembers last year there was a couple of mornings too that were like really hot, really humid too, which is I guess the other contender when trying to make this a good coaching environment for the kids. The other thing to consider there's a couple of days when we're racing them like into whatever shade we can get. So I was just curious, I guess, what the shade situation was at some of these fields, and then also, probably encourage parents to bring canopies or something like that if they have those too, because yeah, there was a couple mornings there where it was thick, like bun cake.
Totally.
Yeah, it was really hot too. I think with all the rain too, it was, yeah, you're right. It was thick. super muggy. But yeah, that might be a good note to pass on to the 5U because they're still going to be there at Norm Jerry and there's absolutely no shade there.
Yeah, there's no
Actually,
shade there. So
yeah. I think we're a little bit better. I know Scove has some shade. And Rickson Ridge is by the school, so it's a bit better.
Yeah, good points. And I think too is because we're no longer like we don't have to follow any of the COVID-19 protocols that we had to follow last year. You can do a few other things, like you could pause your, you could do a popsicle break in between your practice and your game if you wanted to, right? And that's actually really encourage something like that with the teams to sort of organize stuff like that if you want to. Bring a bunch of slices of oranges if you want to, and have a little snack before you go play the game. Last year, because of COVID, we had some rules. We couldn't have food and all that kind of stuff around the diamond. If that's something you want to do, you can totally have something fun like that before you move to the game part as well. Yeah. There's a question in the chat about helmet. There we go. Sorry about that. The helmets, players are required to have their own helmet, but GMBA will provide bats for players. So you'll have bats in your bags, but we do need players to have their own helmets. Okay. Let me pull these slides back up here. So as I mentioned, the practice portion of our sessions is part of Baseball Canada's Rally Cap program, and so part of that program, the program is structured to sort of is to develop skills, test players against those skills, and then develop further skills throughout. And so there are 2 eval weeks that take place. That will take place. One is during week 5, and then one is during week 10, which is the last week, July 16th. So this will be June 11th and July 16th. And so that week you won't run after practice. There'll be eval sessions that will take place that will replace those sessions. You'll still play your game afterwards, but we'll do the evals instead of the practice session on week 5 and week 10. And evaluation, I don't even know if it's the right word. This is just another sort of fun way to have some fun on the diamond. We're really not strict on everybody gets, everybody passes, we're not here to sort of, to make this really difficult for somebody to move forward. And I think you'll see when you see the report card, it's fairly easy to move forward. However, if you have players who are really strong and you want to reward, extra effort or just skill, you can move them up levels that are higher than what other players are moving on within the area. So you've got that flexibility as a coach and convener to sort of make those decisions if you've got players who are really strong and reward them. And so we'll get this information as we get closer to week 5 and week 10, so to share with you, and then we'll work through the evals. But that's how that'll be the other part that flows into here, is these evaluations that take place on partway through the program and then at the very end as well. So then the other piece around your sessions then, so we got the practices that are happening from 8:30 to about 9:15-ish, and then there's a game portion. And so the game will take place from about 9:15 to 10, and we'll follow GMBA's House League T-ball rules. And so we're going to walk through some of those rules here, and I'm going to show you where to find them as well when you jump on here. So one is to find our rules for House League, you're just going to go to the GMBA website. Under the About tab, Rules and Constitution, and here you'll find a link to GMBA's House League rules. And so the rules we're going to focus on are more on page 2, but under the general rules, the big one I just want to point out for our group here is what happens if you get rain or if you get thunder while you're on the diamond here. And so just to be super clear around this, if there's any thunder or lightning heard or seen 15 minutes prior to the start of the game, or at any point during the event, so that's a game or practice, and this could be by an umpire. You do not have umpires at 6U, so this would be by a coaching staff. Just pack it up, cancel it, go home. If it was early in your session, like I said earlier, we'll work to reschedule that with Vanessa so that you don't lose that time on the diamond. But we certainly don't want anybody hanging around the diamond trying to squeeze in a 6-year-old baseball practice if we got lightning and thunder. So totally feel free, if you see that, just shut her down. It'll be the coaches that have to make that call, and then work with Vanessa to get that rescheduled. The rest of the rules here on page 1 aren't really applicable to us at 6U, but these ones here are what I wanted to walk through here. So this will sort of structure your game portion of your session. So we got a rally cap T-ball. This is what this is. So the game will be 5 minutes or 75 minutes of total diamond time from the beginning of the practice session to the end. So that's where you want to be. So you're probably somewhere, you got the 45 minutes for your practice, and it's probably another 30 minutes for the game afterwards. You're not going to get 5 innings in, but if you happen to get 5 in, awesome, right? Scores are not kept at all at 6U. And then how it works is each half inning, 6 batters will bat. So you're not going to bat your entire team. Half your team will bat, 6 batters will bat, and then the other half will bat the next half inning. If you got one of those teams that has 13 players, you can totally bat 7 one half inning and 6 the other. You don't need to have anybody wait 3, to the third inning before they get their first at bat. You can have them bat, in that, you can have 7 bat instead of 6 if you have all 13 show up to your session. And you have a little flexibility here. So if you can hit off the tee, or if you got players, especially near the end of the season, who can hit a pitch ball from a coach, like an underhand pitch, you can absolutely do that as well. So you totally have flexibility how you want to handle that as you go through this. And this can change throughout the at bat or from batter to batter. You don't have to say, hey, we're all going to hit, a moving pitch. Some can hit off the tee and some can hit off of a moving pitch. As I mentioned, that's our goal by the end of our 6U season, is to have most kids hitting a ball that's moving. And then the 6th batter is the last batter, and then the end of the inning, the ball must either be caught in the air or thrown to the catcher before all runners have advanced and touched home base. So that's that last batter rule in T-ball, right? If it's a fly ball that's caught, the batter's out, the inning's over. But if it's a ball that's on the ground or lands in the outfield, it's a play at home. It's not a forced play. It's just it is a forced play. The catcher doesn't have to tag the runner at home plate. Everybody plays defense. 6 infielders, pitcher, catcher, first base, second base, third base, shortstop. Everybody else is in the outfield. And you can absolutely have coaches in the field. And we really encourage you to have coaches in the field during the game play portion to help players, with where's the play, even just to keep things moving and our players focus as much as possible. And then if a runner is put out, like the actual out is made on a base, runners can continue to advance, so they don't have to come off the diamond. Again, I'm going to leave that up to the coaches to decide how they want to play that, but you have the flexibility to say, hey, let's say there's a great play, a ball hit to the pitcher, he throws the ball to first base to actually make a note at first base. We don't have to pull that runner off the field. You could, but we've given you the flexibility to sort of handle that with what you think makes sense for your team and for your game and maybe that day. And you as a group could decide, hey, early on the season, nobody's going to really be out, and that could change partway through the season. Because certainly come 7U, you would be out if an out was made on the bases. But we are, so you have that flexibility as a group to figure that out. And then the last piece here is there's no overthrow. So if a ball gets thrown out of play, nobody's advancing any bases. They just kind of stay where they are and you start over again. So that's kind of how the game piece works. You'll probably get 3-4 innings in if it goes quick, and you get players hustling in on and off the field. That's you'll probably see in about that 30 minute window there. So any questions around the game portion? No? Okay, awesome. Okay, last couple slides here. Police record checks. So there's a whole bunch of coaches that coached last year. It's awesome. If you're new or you need to, or you did your police check a number of years ago, you need to do a new police check. And so if you live in the city of Guelph, you're gonna jump on the Guelph Police website, enter in this code and this expiry date. Don't worry, we'll email this over to you, and you can get your police check done online. And then if you live outside of Guelph, you need to go to the local OPP station. Lindsay and I can get you the paperwork that you need so you do. The OPP will provide you that PRC without charging you for that as well. And so in both cases, we were exempt to have to pay for those. If you do the city of Guelph by using this code, you won't have to pay. And then if you're out, you go to the OPP office. If you live in the townships or in the county, then we'll get you a letter that you can use for that. So PRCs for those who are new or who haven't done their police check in a couple of years. But if you've done your police check in the last 3 years and you signed a declaration waiver every year since then, you can do another way. You can do a waiver versus a police check, and you would download that waiver form from our website, fill it out, and send it back into us. And that's for those who have completed their vulnerable sector check with Guelph minor baseball in the last 3 years and have signed a declaration at every year since then as well. So for most of you who coached last year, if you did your police check last year, you'll just need to do the waiver this year. But if you're new to GMBA, you'll probably need to do a police check. And if you did a police check with, say, hockey in the fall, you could absolutely use that check again. So you can use that when you have to get a second. You don't have to get a new one done if it's done within the last year or so. That's all good. Okay. Was that your question, Matt? Is that what you're gonna ask?
Well, yeah, I was a little too eager when about coaching this year, and I got an email from my son's soccer convener, but I didn't read all the way through it. So when they asked for volunteers, I was like, yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited about it. And then responded, and then about a half an hour later, looked back at it and went, oh, damn it. I volunteered to be his soccer coach as well. So, so yeah, that was my question was that I got my police check through soccer, so I can just send that off. That's fine.
Yep, totally is. Yep, you got it.
And then send that to.
Yeah, so we're actually, Vanessa's going to get some. Hang on to it for now. We're actually going to email all the computers with our process for that. We've just finalized it, but yeah, that'll come in shortly. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Cool. Next steps. So really, so we're on the field in a couple weeks, which we can't wait for. And so as soon as you can complete your police check or declaration, get that stuff in. By the end of this weekend, if you could reach out to your parents, introduce yourself, let them know what team they're on, let them know the uniform pickup info, May 2nd, starting May 2nd, down in Hometown Sports. And then let them know, hey, we're starting May 14th with this group here, and we're every Saturday morning, 8:30, and in the next 7 days max, but actually open by the weekend, your schedule will be up on the website, and then you can just point your parents right to it and say, hey, go to this link, here's our schedule. This will tell you where we are each and every single week. And then if you're looking for other coaching resources or any other ideas, jump on the GMBA website, just under coaching here. And there's a whole bunch of coach links here, and just resources for you as a coach that you can absolutely take advantage of. So this is a good place to go if you're looking for something to do over the next couple of weeks before your season starts. Lots of great coaching resources that are there too. So I think that's it that we had tonight. What questions do you guys have?
I have another question. Again, with soccer, I feel like I really made a mistake. I've done about 8 hours of training, done respect for sport and what's it called? All the concussion, protocols and everything. So there's nothing required for us to be coaches for baseball.
That's correct. Yeah, there's no official training for house league. Yeah, for house league.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then also just another thing that was provided to us was they gave us a participant information sheet. So it's got, their names, any special needs or whatever. I don't know. And you don't need to do anything like that either.
Yeah, what you'll get from Vanessa, you'll get a spreadsheet that's got obviously players' names, their contact info, their parents' names, and then anything else that's been provided to us from the parents, the registration form will be on there too. Typically, there's not a lot of stuff there, but yeah, any of those types of things, you'll get that from Vanessa in the next couple of days.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
What other questions do folks have?
Are the uniforms exactly the same as they were last year?
Yeah, they are. Yep.
Okay, because I had some people asking if it was just the numbers on the back or names or whatever the combination was, and I was pretty sure it was just random numbers, whatever
Yeah, whatever.
we have
Tim,
in
yeah.
stock, right?
Yeah, and yeah, Tim Hortons is a sponsor again for us at
Mhm.
5U and 6U. So yeah, whatever numbers they put on the back of the jerseys is what.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was wondering too if I should ask Mac what he has for sizes in each color, or is there a variety? Because I remember last year there was probably half of them were way too big.
Yeah, we did try to bring them down a size.
Yeah.
And so
I just
hopefully
kind
the
of want
size.
to line teams up with if anybody asked like specifically for the mediums, I guess.
Yeah, I would say what's probably the best option really is just for families to go in and sort of do their best to try them on, because like, you know, the team 1 in Rally Cap 5U is the same color as team 1 in 6U. So they're used between the two age groups. So I would just head in, and I'd probably the easy thing to do is just have families head in, try on the jersey, see what fits best for them, and to be honest, encourage folks to go in early, because that'll be the way they can get guaranteed they get sort of the better sizing choice. It's always a real challenge to fit these properly. So
Yeah, I know for sure.
Yeah.
Nico was like swimming in his jersey last year. It was
He
like-
probably still, I'm sure he can still wear it again, right? Yeah.
He still has it, yeah, and I
Yeah.
bet he could probably wear the pants again too.
Yeah, totally.
But it's cute as pie. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and to be frank, it's nice. They Hortons totally provides the whole thing. There's no cost for us for that, which is great.
Yeah, they look great. They're really cute.
Yeah. There's a question in the chat. Request to have family friends on my son's team. Yeah, it's the one for you, Vanessa.
Yeah, just shoot me an email for sure. Like the teams are pretty well laid out, so if I have to swap 1 or 2 kids in and out, it's totally fine. So just send me an email with the 2 kids' names, and I'll make sure they're on the same team. No problem.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, hey, thanks again for your time tonight, and really thanks again for stepping up. Like I said off the top, we can't do it without you, and we appreciate all your hard work. And we're looking forward to an awesome year on the ball diamond. So if you need anything, please reach out. Vanessa's all over this, and if Lindsay and I can help at all, we'll be there to help too. So thanks again. Have a great season, and I'll see probably a bunch of you next week picking up equipment. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Oh,